big movies like this, and effects-driven movies especially, have gotten kind of a bad rap lately, that they're theme parks, that they're not stories. How do you feel about the big movie taking its place among great filmmaking?
I love movies. I love cinema. And it's sometimes a story calls for it being a visual spectacle and not much more, I suppose. Sometimes it's not meant to be visually spectacular at all, but deeply emotional and deeply meaningful. And other times it's somewhere in the middle. You look at what Scorsese said about the Marvel films. He just made a movie that happens to use visual effects, in a massive way, but does it in a sort of invisible way, or is intended to be invisible way. Obviously, comic book films are not meant to be, without their visual effects. Like, they are comic book films. And I think that there's a gamut of types of movies. I think to say one is cinema and one is not cinema isn't quite fair. I think that cinema hopefully is big enough and broad enough that it can contain all sorts of storytelling. And I just know that in the case of this film, our goal was to tell a deeply emotional and moving story that happens to have visual spectacle, but not to make something that is all about the visual effects. The visual effects were always, at every turn, for us, serving character and story.